Hi, welcome. I'm Mayar. On this video, I'm gonna teach you how to create distribution queue. So, I I just created some picture so that way you see it. So first one is distribution queue. Distribution queue is a queue that queue manager can able to talk from a one queue manager 1 to queue manager 2. Could send the data to the queue manager 2 from 1 to 2. This is the distribution queue. In order to the queue manager 1 talk, they must create distribution queue, and distribution queue have a different component. Remote queue, this is the like when you need to create center because of the unidirection. And receiver, the channel. Once it becomes center, you must have a remote queue. On a remote queue, you must have a remote queue name. This is the queue that is we will mention on our remote queue, and a queue manager name, this name right here. Then transmission queue, we also will add it to the remote queue. Then we have a center. All this information would come to remote queue. You will get all the information on a channel, and a channel will initiate first connection. First connection with the receiver channel, and also there is a listener port who listen to specific port to establish connection. Then they will get all the information. That way he knows, because this information will carry on, it would come right here. Then he knows this one is belong to queue manager 2. On a queue manager 2, they need to forward to specific queue. So that way then the queue, if it's connected to application, you will forward it to application. Then if there's any business logic to do, they will apply to it. So this is a distribution queue. If you want to read more, you need to come right here and read about that. And channel, we have a different type of channel. Let me show you. We have a let's go up a little bit. We have we have like 3 type of channel: master channel, MQI channel, and advanced channel. Master channel, this type of channel is used on IBM MQ to transfer message between different queue manager, enable communication and data exchange between queue manager. And we have a MQ channel. MQ channel stands for the MQ messaging interface channel, facilitate communication between MQ client and application and queue manager, allow client to interact with the queue manager. And we have a AMQP channel, is advanced message queuing protocol, is a channel used on IBM MQ to handle message format according to AMQ standard, enable interconnectivity with the system support this protocol for. And this first channel is unidirection. This this is a one-way like message send. Must have a channel to send the message, and must have a channel to receive the message. And is a one-way direction, unidirection. It's a bi-direction channel. They will have one channel that could receive and accept and receive it, and there's an advanced channel. So those was the 3 type of channel. And let's read about channel type. If you right here, those is the channel type. When they say center, there's the abbreviation SDR, that means center. You must know those abbreviation too, because once you use the code we're using there. So this specify IBM determine the rule that each end of the channel will play on the communication between 2 queue manager. So the center channel is a type of channel used to send message from a local queue manager to remote queue manager, and initiate communication by sending message over the channel to receive an handoff of remote queue manager. And we have a receiver channel. I already tell you, is a type of channel used to receive message from the remote queue manager, and listen for the incoming message on a channel and deliver them to a local queue manager. And we have a server. This is a type of channel act as a both center channel and a receiver channel. It can send message to one queue manager and receive message from another queue manager on the same channel. And we have a requester. Requester, this type of channel used on a client server communication, where the client requester send request to a server and receiver respond back. And we have a cluster. This is for the cluster. Distribution queue is one way to talk. One queue manager talk to another queue manager. This is the second way, cluster. I will show you how to create cluster too. But right now, cluster channel has also type. The center type is a channel used on IBM integration to send cluster information. Make sure cluster information to other queue manager in the same cluster. It helps in maintaining cluster information. So this all it do, send the cluster information to another queue manager. That way they maintain connection information. That way you will know the repository, like partial repository, who send that one to the full repository. I will explain that one cluster once time comes. We have a receiver channel. Cluster receiver channel. This type of channel is used on the IBM MQ cluster to receive cluster information from other queue manager on the same cluster. It can listen for the cluster information message and process them accordingly. So you could come right here and read more, like, and even see the picture right here. See, the queue manager 1 wanted to talk to queue manager 2. They have a center channel and they have a receiver channel. That stands for there's a unidirection channel is a message channel agent. They will put a message right here and with all information and forward it right here. Then they will know to where to send it. You could see other picture and read more, and you could learn even more stuff: dead letter queue, remote queue, definition and admission, and what are the alias. And there's a good documentation. I will put this one in a description and more link for you information. And so let's okay, one more thing I want to mention before I create it. This is the important call you must know. I already told you on the previous video. I will bring it. There's a MQ connect. There's a connect to a queue manager. MQ disconnect from a queue manager. MQ open to open a queue or topic. Open close to open or topic. MQ put a message or receive a message from a queue. MQ put one to put a single message without requiring open single message in a queue. You have input inquiry to inquiry about attribute of objects such as queue and queue manager. We have MQ set to set attribute of object. We have MQ commit to commit the transaction. We have MQ back to roll back transaction. We have MQ begin to start a transaction. We have MQ sub to subscribe to topic. We have a subscribe requester. MQ request a subscription to topic. We have MQ create to create a message handling. We have MQ delete to delete a message handling. MQ put one report put a single message into queue with a reporting option, or for reporting option. And MQ compare to compare to message. MQ state obtain the state information about queue manager. And we have a MQ sub requester to request a subscription to topic. Those was the important call. And this is the way we create distribution queue. We have a queue manager 1 and queue manager 2. Queue manager 1, I make him as a center queue. We will send a message from queue manager 1 to queue manager 2. And let's focus the queue manager 1 who want to send a message. First, we need to have the transmission queue. Transmission queue is a local queue. I already told you. We say define queue local and name of transmission queue. By this, when you specify that become transmission queue, usage and the type. Then we must have a remote queue. Define, say queue remote, then the queue remote name. Then this name, remote queue name, this name would come from my whatever is local queues exists when I receive the message. This is the local queue. I will put it right here. Once the message is transferred to this queue, they will read it on this one. And the queue manager name, same. We need to put this queue manager name. From queue manager 1, we need to put the queue name, the local queue name and queue manager name. And we must mention transmission queue. So that way, remote queue can able to talk with the channel, and channel able to talk with the queue manager, another queue manager. and and also is a good idea on a center. There's a center to create a listener, so that way in case if you want to create a receiver channel, so you will use that one. And we will define listener and the listener name, and we say this is a protocol type, TCP protocol type you need to mention, and we need to mention the port number. And I will use 141 the default one on the queue manager one, and you must start it. And we have a defined channel, and now we're gonna create channel. Channel will have all of those, almost all those information right here. So that we establish connection right here to the queue manager too. So define the channel name. Then this is the channel. It's a defined channel. This is the channel name. The channel name must be less than 20 character. And the channel type. You see, this has become SDR. Let me show you. You see, that's why I said it's good to remember those abbreviation, SDR, receiver. If you know, you could come to this side. I will put it and know it. And this is again the protocol type is TCP, and we must say connection name. Connection name, we must say the IP number, since it's a local host. That's why I use local host. Make sure you put on a single quotation, and put a port number. This port number is not this port number. This port number, because you want to establish connection with this one, you must mention the IP number of this queue manager. Do not mention this one. Do not get confused. This queue local host IP would come from right here. Since this is a local, because this queue manager also exists on is my, I put them local host, and this is my this is the port number. And we must mention transmission queue. We just mention transmission queue with a XMIT queue, then we mention transmission queue. So we create a center channel. Receiver channel, we define channel, the channel name. The name must be the same. Receiver channel and the center channel name must be the same. You see, it's the same. And then the channel type is receiver. Look, this is RCVR. Channel type receiver, there is a center. And we have a protocol type TCP. And this is important right here. We must create the listener to specific port that we're using right here. So define listener, the listener name, I gave them listener queue, and the type of protocol TCP, and the port number 1418, and start the listener. We must start it, and we also need to create the local queue. This local queue would be mentioned on right here, that way we receive it. So this way you create distribution queue. So let's, because it is I recommend always copy and paste. It's a good idea, copy and paste.